What's going on, guys? How you doing? Gurvinder, Rav, Andrew, Nils, Peter, Optimus. What's going on? How you guys doing? I hope you guys had a great week. I know I did. I know a lot of people at MSL had great weeks. I see you guys posting your double accounts every day. What's going on, Yash? How you doing? Let's get into this. I know it's Friday. You guys gotta go party. I ain't got nowhere to go. I'm on quarantine, but what's going on? I think Yash does own Massachusetts by now, but Spy is still looking pretty bullish. I mean, today's one of the first signs that we're gonna reverse. So next week, do not expect the same action. I know I got a bunch of lines on there, but they all make sense. Okay, these are just ranges that I play on the way up. So I leave the lines on there for you guys. How do I do it? Let's go over some of the ranges here. So I got regular trading hours marked off. I got pre-market lines. I got after-market lines. Everything. Okay. And I just leave the lines on just because they help. Look, from pre-market, this was a low. Down here is where I took the calls. We flushed down, we came back up, and then it faked me out. You see how it came back down? That's why it scared me out of my Amazon app, Amazon calls, Amazon and Spy calls. What's up, Mohammed? Ginger's in here. Emilio, Darren. I hope you guys had a great week. So what I'm saying is I draw all these lines for a reason. This is a pre-market lows, pre-market highs, right? Once we broke the pre-market highs, I knew there was some downturn coming, but I didn't think it would be this nasty. I thought we were going to bounce off this little level here. I bought it here. They flushed me out. They bring it right back up to my break even. And then they faked me out by breaking the pre-market low again. They faked me out. I sold my Amazon and Spy calls and they reversed it right back up. So sometimes that does happen, but 9 out of 10 times that trade works. So that's why I took it, and I'm not worried about losing a little bit of money. We did great this week. Everything is fine daily wise. Now we can get rid of those lines. I'll draw them again. This candlestick obviously is not the best candlestick. There's a lot of profit taking at the top, the big dip at the bottom. This is actually a doji. So this, in textbook terms, this is a reversal doji. So if we do gap down on Monday, do not be surprised. We told you guys take profits on everything. Even if all my positions go to zero right now, I'm still up for the month. I'm up for this week. Everything will be fine for me. I hope you guys manage like we told you. Take profits. Don't get greedy. That's why I took Lucid off. I told you I wasn't going to take any Lucid off over the weekend. The gains were just too big. I had to take some off. I exercised some into shares, which takes my risk off. I have no premium burn in those. And other than that, we're still looking bullish. QQQ did the exact same thing. If I went long QQQ on this flush, so usually you'll notice a little pattern. If you day trade SPY or QQQ or XLF or something, anything same day expiry, what usually happens is you got the pre-market low here or any kind of support. What they do is they flush it through that support, catch everyone's stop losses down here, and then they reverse it up. So that's exactly what I was looking for on my SPY 0 DTs here. No worries, Mohammed. That's what I'm here for, brother. Mr. Bagria, what's up? Okay. Look at this. So we flushed it and we reversed it. So this is my bread and butter play. They came down, they took all the stop losses, they ripped it right back above. So I thought we were going to V-shape recovery right back. What they did was they shook me out by breaking the line again, and then they did what I expected right here. So we were a bit early. Most of the time, you guys know, if you're in the group, you guys see it. If I'm not right, I'm usually just early. It rips the next week. Great example of that is FedEx. If you guys remember, we were in 250 calls for this week. The chart was set up beautifully. It was my setup. It was a big run up, the 3-day consolidation into the moving averages, and then it was supposed to rip. What it did was it consolidated for 6 days and then it ripped, okay? So usually if I'm not right, I'm usually just early. If any of my calls go to zero, you guys can probably take the next week's ones and make money. So QQQ still bullish as well. On the inside day, same thing set up here. You guys, I just went over it all. I'm not going to go over it again. Same kind of candle up here. We are very extended. Especially the big indexes, they like to stay near the moving averages. If you go back in historically, whenever we get a little bit far away from the moving averages, it turns into a big dump. So right here we got far away dump. Right here we got far away from the 21-day dump. Right here we got far away from the 21-day, which is the yellow line, dump. So let's see when we get that pullback. But for right now, everything was in melt up mode. I'm sure you guys made a lot of money this week if you listened to us. If you protected your gains and took out profits, you're fine. XLF completely sideways. Financials is the weakest sector right now. IWM is absolutely ripping. We have $230 calls, which we bought off this trend line here. They're up over 350%. I wanted a bigger position, but obviously we didn't get a dip. Next week, let's see if we can get a dip. So the numbers that I still want IWM 250s for December. What price do I want them at? I want them at 235. So if we get a dip to 235 and even 230, if it looks weak around 235, I'll wait for 230. But these are the numbers I'm looking at on IWM to grab those $250 calls for December. And I'm still holding my 230 calls. They're in the money. I can exercise them, and I'll have 100 shares for $224, and we're way up here. So just reduces my risk. VIX did not break my key level, as I go over every single day. So usually what happens is VIX comes down, it bear flags, and then it reverses up, right? Unless it breaks down. If it just keeps going down, that's great. But what happens usually is it comes down, it bases, and then it pops. And right now, it came down, it bases, and it pops. If it gets over 1763 next week, the market's coming down. I'm telling you right now. VIX over 1763, market drops. And I'm not talking 1% drop, 2% drop. I think it goes down like 4 or 5% just because we're so extended. 1763 to the upside. Oh, I already have it written out. 1492 to the downside. If we close below 1492 at any point, this market's going to rip to the top. So 1492 to the downside, market rips. 1763 to the upside, market drops. That's all you have to know on VIX. So all you need to be watching. ES, we don't need to go over. Apple, I seen something here. Why did I buy calls right here? Because the daily right here, Apple has not moved. I took a look at all the FANG. Okay, so first thing I did was I was watching the flow. I seen millions of dollars in QQQ flow come in. So what I did was I looked through all of the FANGs. Let's go through all the FANGs. So you have Apple there. We looked at Amazon. Look at the Amazon daily. That's a little bit extended. It's 3 days straight up in a line. The 8-day moving average is down at 34.17 on Amazon. So I was not going to buy up there heavy. Google, straight up in a line. The 8-day moving average is down 80 points from where we are. Right? Facebook, 8-day moving average is down 331. It's down 10 points from where we closed today. Okay? So I went to Apple. Apple's over here touching the 8-day moving average. So obviously if they want the Qs to go up, if they want tech to go up, Apple has to carry us. If Apple doesn't carry us upside, those other names are extended. That's why I chose Apple off the 8-day moving average. And as you can see, it's a hammer candle off the 8-day moving average. So Apple next week, what we need to see on Apple is we need to take out yesterday's high, which is 152.43. If we take out 152.43, our calls are 152.50. They're going to be in the money. They're going to be up by 100%. So that's why I took Apple. That's my play on Apple. And another thing I noticed on Apple was right here. You see this right here? This big rip. This correlated with Amazon's drop. You see this? This Amazon drop right here means all that money was coming into Apple. So Apple was ripping, Amazon was going down. That's why I didn't want to take more Amazon. I did with Ricky at the end of the day. We made 350% in like 8 minutes, so I'm happy with that. But as far as next week's go, I'm much more comfortable in Apple than in Amazon. PayPal. I took these because of that whale. I seen huge flow going in. We have earnings on Monday. Chart is absolutely destroyed. All bad news is priced into this chart. I mean, and the main thing I want to see about PayPal is I want to hear about what they said to Pins. Are they buying Pinterest? Are they not buying Pinterest? Why did they value Pinterest at $70? And we're in Pins as well, so I want to see that. But other than that, PayPal's right at a major demand zone. So what you call this is 1 support, 2 support. This is where buyers start stepping in. Obviously hasn't happened yet. Maybe they're waiting for earnings to jump in. But with that huge flow, I'm confident in the earnings. I mean, even if they miss revenues, it looks like it's priced in here already. Other than that, good luck. Let's see what happens. Earnings, anything is possible, but the probability is to the upside. Lucid, I screamed this 40 times this morning. Why did I scream it? It's bread and butter setup, man. We have Rivian IPO next week. We have perfect consolidation, huge move, 3-day consolidation, and now we start ripping up. And look at this candle today. We are up 13% almost in Lucid, right off the 8-day moving average, almost exact touch it, and then just rip up, right? Close above the daily VWAP. Everything looks absolutely fantastic on Lucid. We closed in a gap. If you zoom out right now, this was actually the most bullish close you could probably have on Lucid. This gap can fill all the way to $56 now. Lucid has thin air. Look at the volume shows. Look at this. This is thin air. We can squeeze this thing straight to 56 and beyond now. So let's see what happens with Lucid next week, but I am expecting a big day. Look at the volume, the RSI, everything looks fantastic on Lucid. And that's why I sold a bunch of my 40s for a huge gain. I exercised into shares so I don't have to worry about premium burn beyond next week. I have 45s for next week. And we banked on this one. I mean, if you didn't buy Lucid this morning, I only mentioned it like 40 times. Watch this MSOS. So MSOS is the ETF for American weed stocks. Huge volume. We have not seen volume like this in MSOS. I don't think ever. Wait, is that the volume bar? Let me see this. Give me 1 second. There's never been volume this high in MSOS ever. Since the history of the ETF, this is the most buying in a single day they've ever done. So I'm not sure about the news. I think T posted it, but I didn't see it at the time. I was probably doing something else. But this chart is also set up to just rip. We did close underneath the trend line, so next week we do need follow through. But I've never seen this much volume in American weed stocks ever. So keep an eye on American weed stocks. Go to Google, type in MSOS top holdings. One of them is Green Thumb. I know that for a fact. This is the top holding in their ETF. Green Thumb up 13% today. This is a broken chart as well. But keep an eye on this one. It's the top holding. Another one to keep an eye on is VFF Village Farms. They own that one. Just getting so tight here and at a super key support. This VFF is ready to fly too. Oh no, that lied to my eyes. We're below support. If it stopped at this support, that would have been an A+ setup, but it didn't. GRWG is another one in there. Planet 13 is another one in there. What's Planet? PTH, I think. When in doubt, spell it out. Right here. PLTH on the Canadian side. Every chart's just super broken, but with that volume in MSOS, bro, this is one definitely to watch next week. I'm telling you right now, and it looks like we're right at the top of the channel. So if we get followed through on Monday, this one could absolutely rip. You know how many shorts are shorting this right now? Every single short that's shorted since October 26th is now red, just in one day. So now if we continue, all these shorts are going to be screwed. All these shorts are going to have to cover. So it's just going to be a complete short squeeze if this one keeps going. So keep an eye on USMJ next week, guys. That's one to watch next week. Another one to watch next week is this OTRK. OTRK super beat up. A lot of shorts stuck in it. Look at the volume today. I have an alert set for 1460. If we get through 1460, which is this level right here. Oh, 1546. So today's pre-market high, yeah, I think it was today's pre-market high. Yeah, so I marked off today's pre-market high 1460. Through 1460, if we go to 15, through 1460 we go to 1540. Through 1540 we have a huge gap fill all the way to 20 bucks. So keep an eye on this one as well. Those are the numbers on OTRK. Even if you want to take equity, there's thin air up here. Look at this. We can squeeze all the way to 21 bucks easy on OTRK. So keep an eye on that one as well. AFRM, we got next week's 180s. They have earnings next week. I'm expecting a run into earnings. Today was a very strong candle as well. We started way down, held the 8-day moving average, came up and closed almost a doji, almost a hammer, whatever you want to call it. We're still underneath the key breakout level. 166 is the key level on AFRM. 166. If we close above 166 on Monday, I will take off these calls and they will be up a lot. 166 is a magic number on AFRM. These calls will not lose a lot of premium because there's earnings next week, so keep that in mind. That's why I held it over the weekend as well. LRCX looks ready to blow up as well. I mean, look at this. I called this out yesterday. This morning they were 300, 400%. Look at this weekly channel breakout. Weekly channel, and we broke out. Daily, you can see the breakout a little bit better here. Look at the second day. So yesterday we broke out. Today was continuation. Next level we have up here would be 616.50. So through 616.50, LRCX can go to 622. 616.50, then 622 on LRCX if we continue. And why do I think we continue is because this one's way behind Nvidia run up and AMD run up. So if chips are going to keep going, I think the money will come out of AMD and NVDA, which need a breather, and I think they go into LRCX and TSM and ON. Oh, ON ran just as much as, so disregard ON because it's parabolic just like Nvidia at AMD. But TSM, LRCX, ASML, did that one run yet? No, ASML hasn't run yet. It's not even at all-time highs like the rest of them. So keep an eye on those three, ASML, TSM, and LRCX for next week if chips rotate into the weaker names. Pins, the earnings were very weird last night. I said I didn't like them. The reason I like this play is the weekly wedge here. We have a descending channel, and we were right at support. So we're bouncing off support here. The earnings were weird. So the earnings, they beat on revenue and they beat on some other money statistic, but they did not beat on users. They're losing users. They have less users this quarter than they had last quarter. And one way to look at it is their users are declining. One way to look at it is each user is producing more revenue, which is why they beat revenue. So you have to wait and see what the market says. Like, it doesn't matter what I think. Even yesterday, I thought Pin's earnings were shit. I told you guys in the group, I didn't like that they're declining users. This morning, we had a 15-minute dump, but we held the pre-market. So this is why I held everything. We held yesterday's post-market support here. We went, we touched it, and they completely bought the dip. And look, it never stopped all day. And then sideways to digest that big move. Biggest number here is 47.29 on Pinterest. Through 47.29, we can see 50, then 51.30, then 67. Look at this gap fill all the way to 57. It's 57, not 67. Why did it say 67? Yeah, ignore that 67. It's 57, guys. There's a gap fill there. So other than that, keep an eye on OTRK, keep an eye on LRCX, TSM for next week, and keep an eye on the American weed stocks for next week. They're all set up to rip. They all have short interest, and people are going to get squeezed. I hope you guys had a great week. I hope your account's at all-time high, and thank you guys for attending. I'll see you next week.